Today is January 22nd, 2014, and we are recorded live in front of a virtual and a live studio audience, and we're coming to you from Full Sail University campus in chilly Winter Park, Florida. It's the Media Communications BS Hour, everybody. Welcome and glad to have you here. Joining us on this thrilling, oh, come on. Yeah, good point. Thank you. I'll pause for applause. Go ahead. And wooting. Yes. Yeah. Now it feels like a radio show. And lasers. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, lasers.
Joining us on our thrilling journey to the heart of the media communications industry, a incredibly fun-loving group of people that brought lasers, the faculty of the MCBS program at Full Sail University. And it is such a good time to sit here and hang out with these folks. And we'll do our introductions so you can tell exactly who is here with us virtually and live. And today we'd like to kick it over to probably, I would say, one of the cornerstone people of the entire program, Lisa Smith. Lisa, how's it going out there in the College Park satellite office?
It is going great. Just hanging out here with many cats and rabbits and whatnot. So good to be here.
Cats and rabbits. I am a little jealous. I have Christmas lights and paper. So cats and rabbits sound much better. How about in the far, far back corner of Building 5, where we have, I like to call them Emily and the gang.
Emily and the gang in the house. We're going to do a musical number after the show, so tune back in.
Oh, we're not going anywhere. I want to hear that. And you've got Isabel there with you too, I believe, right?
Emily, is it going to involve any? Is it going to involve dachshunds?
Not this week. Not this week. We lost 2 of the members of the gang, so we're back down to 6.
Oh.
Yeah, for those of you that weren't here last week,
for traveling and touring, you know, it's hard to tour with dachshunds. So
it is. You're being responsible. But for those of you that were not here last week, Emily and Isabel, who teach the new media tools class, rescued a couple of dachshunds on their way to class last week. So maybe we'll have time for an update on that later, Emily.
Well, I sure hope we do.
We do now. Well, that brings us all the way back into the main studio. And with that, let's get our introductions from the far corner at the windowed row. Pete in the far corner. How's it going, Pete?
I'm doing really well, and this is going to present a bit of a dilemma because I don't know if I should go to the right to my buddy Robert or to the left, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right after I say hello to everybody and have my pal Robert just skip over me back to Janelle. So, yes, a little logistical stuff there. Great to hear everybody out there today. So excited. What a high point of the week, right? Aren't you guys excited for what's ahead? So I'm going to pass it on to Robert to keep the ball rolling. Robert, there you go.
Thanks, Pete. So Janelle and I were having a moment here.
Oh, my God.
But it's all good. Welcome, everyone, to the MCBS Hour. I'm Robert Moe, course director for digital audio applications, and looking forward to this MCBS Hour and all the fun topics that we're going to cover. And with that, I will pass it to Janelle.
Oh my gosh, I just had a big blonde moment. Sorry, no offense to any blondes. I'm Janelle Ferrer, course director for project management, and I am so excited to be here, and I am still cracking up. So I'm going to pass this over to Kathy.
Well, it's great to be here, and I just have a special message for Lisa Smith. That's for you, Lisa. So,
Pew, pew.
Okay, I'm actually sitting at Lisa's desk taunting her by playing with her laser gun keychain. So that is for you, Lisa. But it's great to be here with you guys today, and we actually do have very relevant content. We're not just a bunch of nutty jokesters, so stay tuned.
Next up, let's hear from Renee. Renee, how's it going?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here.
Glad to have you here. Renee and I have been working in the intro to new media tools. No, that's not what we do. The introduction to media communications and technologies class.
No, that other class, yeah.
One of those. And down in one of the darker corners of our Building 5 dungeon, Dungeon Master Phyllis. Phyllis, how are you doing?
That's awesome.
Goodness, wow.
She's getting a t-shirt now.
Oh, is she?
Your mic's muted.
She's not muted, actually. We just can't hear her. She said to pass her, and she says hello to everybody.
Oh my gosh.
You got it, Phyllis.
Thanks, Phyllis. Just kidding, by the way, about being the dungeon master. And last, and in my heart, certainly nowhere close to least, we have the amazing Shannon Gillette. How are you doing, Shannon?
I am doing great. It's so wonderful to talk to all of you today. My name is Shannon Gillette, and I am teaching research media communications with Pete this month. And it's a wonderful month. And hold on, January's almost over. Don't panic, everybody. We will beat winter in the end. All right. Bye, everybody.
You just got here.
Nope. Putting my head down in the cold.
Well, Shannon has a lot of stories she could tell, and I'm sure she'd get a couple tears from the people up north about how cold it is down here in Florida. It is freezing, according to her, although water hasn't quite frozen yet. But it does get really chilly at night, so I feel her pain.
My
Literally.
plants did. They froze, and the water that was at the bottom of it actually froze. I had to poke my finger through it to break the ice. They all died. It was very sad.
Gosh. How far
That's
do you
all.
drive to get to work? Do you work up in Georgia?
You'd think, right? Just 30 minutes.
Well, that's the whole gang, and we are all here, and we are having a good time. So let's kick on into our very first segment, Media in the News. So much cool stuff. Had to pick the top 3 or 4 stories and let the rest slide by. And instead, we're going to focus on this fun. Here is a very interesting report that came out from an online securities organization. They're very big, and they're probably the only people that can do this kind of research. I'm sorry, I was overcome with Janelle. I thought she was going to start her Darth Vader thing. my bad.
Gosh, I'm sorry. I was laughing and explaining my blonde moment to Pete. Did you ask me a question?
No, just
Oh, okay.
nothing. And once again, our apologies to anybody who is actually blonde. Like me. Now, what were we talking about? Okay. Fine, Janelle, I'll move on. This week we've had, every year they take a look at who has the weakest passwords. Who is really just not even trying to protect themselves. And the weakest password forever has been the word itself, password. So that we're talking about those people who have their banking information set up where they enter their username and their password is actually the word password. That is no longer the weakest, lamest password. It's been overtaken by a new winner, 123456. 123456. If you have either password or 123456 as any of your web-based passwords, for goodness sakes, change it now. And you should know better, and I'll just add shame on you. I don't want to be all harsh and everything.
Yeah,
but
Jasmine said that she was hacked last week in her Facebook.
was her password one of those? Those password hacks are really tricky. They've got a lot of links they can get you to follow that reveal a lot of your information.
Yeah, I can't get hacked because
was very secure. Unfortunately, it just got hacked, and all of my personal, pictures and memorabilia, 90% of them were gone. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I did go through a lot of hell finding them. I didn't find all of them, but I got some of them.
Goodness.
That is devastating.
So sorry.
I didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah. Well, I
Wow.
set up, there's a certain security Facebook has now where if you're hacked and you can set it up for future reference, like 3 close people to get your information back, and you can set it up to where you get text messages, sending, um, giving, permission to log on another device. So somebody tried to do it again 4 days ago and they were
Oh my
denied.
goodness.
So, yeah, so try and get me now. That's not a invite.
Not a challenge, yeah. Oh,
Well, we're
that is
certainly
sad.
sorry to hear that, but it's nice to be able to learn from what you went through.
Definitely.
Have to go look into
Can I
those
ask? Can I ask what
precautions.
color your hair is?
Oh,
That's messed up. I did not say that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist it. I didn't really mean that.
Wait, who are we talking to?
No telling.
My,
No
my name is my name is Janelle Ferrer.
Nope. Nope. Not even close. Not at all.
I think Pete probably misheard that part where you said that you had a very sophisticated password and they somehow still
Exactly.
got
I think
through.
he did. I think he thought you said your password was password.
No, oh God, no.
No.
I don't know anybody who would have that as their password. That's so simple.
Well, that's now the second most popular super mega weak password. In third place, 1234567 8. So they added 2 more digits to be a little more complex.
to make it a little more complicated.
Fourth place.
That's why all these. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was saying that's why all these dumb new companies are making me put like an exclamation point and a number and a capital letter and lower. I'm like, I can't remember that. Are you serious? It's because of all these people who are using these dumb passwords.
Mm-hmm. And some people
If
are
it makes
actually
any better, I have 2 full pages, front and back, passwords.
well.
Got quiet. Okay.
No, let me take a. This is a great opportunity. I want to give you guys a gift. It's called PassPack. And Pete, I hope I'm not stepping on your toes here. And
no.
you guys,
Nope.
Go ahead and do the Google. Make sure I'm getting this right. PassPak.com, and it might be CK.com. And it's an online. It sounds a little scary, but they're not. They're good guys, I hear. It's a place where you can store all those passwords, so they're always in one single location, no matter how many you have. And it is a good idea to make sure you've got a different one for every application. And we all know how impossible that can be when we log into 50 applications a week.
And if any of you want to give me all your passwords, I will store them
Yeah.
in a file at my house.
Jeez. You know, things about websites like that hold your password. What happens if they get hacked? You're done.
Right.
I don't trust that stuff.
That
But everybody else can go ahead and do it.
yeah.
Like
I was
Target.
gonna say, I thought I heard Robert kill over back there. So
Jason, I was going to say that
Yes.
there are encryption programs too that you don't have to come up with the password, just like you're saying, but it will come up with it for you, and it's so long and just you wouldn't know the password, but you just have to know one password, and then it sort of does all that for you. And then of course Mavericks now does that for you as well. It will think of the password for you and then store it, and all you need to do is just remember your one overall password. And that's part of the Maverick software that's in your lunchbox, students. So if you have Mavericks up there, you can approach it that way.
Super cool. Very relevant. Thank you, Pete.
Well, if I might interject also and add to Pete's remarks, yes, passwords have always been very easy. Most of them, if there are ASCII characters, to be hacked. Very, very simple. So if you all want to check this out as well into all these new encoding apps that happen, that it will make a new password for you based on certain characters. It's basically taking what they call the web encryption keys, which most wireless systems use now, and translate them into a 64-bit basically a code for your password, which you will not be able to remember, but based on certain key characters that you will input to whatever the application is, it will come up with this encryption code for you. And they are 64-bit. Now, going back to Janelle's question or remark about storing these passwords, which are ASCII system passwords mostly on these websites. Yes, they're very easily hackable. So my advice to everyone is not to keep them, or if you're going to use something with your social networks, Twitter, Facebook, go this route, the web encryption codes, because they are a lot harder, actually almost not able to crack. Yeah, there are some of them are well, I'm not going to go into detail, but some of them are pretty lengthy, and they're not actually passwords where you're using straight ASCII characters. They're actually encoded into 64-bit. So anyway, those are my 2 cents.
Right. Okay, cool. So like I was saying, everybody, PASSPACK.com. Don't, whatever you do, don't go there. Stay away from those places. I've got some other sites you should stay away from, but I'll blog about that and post it up at some point in the future. But please, for goodness sakes, don't go there. Yeah, and I did want to finish with the 5th place most common was ABC123, and then I wanted to finish on a high note. This password climbed from number 11 to number 9, which is good because it means there's a little more love in the world. This password that people seem to love so much is I love you, all one word. Aww.
There you go.
Have a little hug. Speaking of hugs, Transmedia Story Stream. This is a really exciting application that's coming out. There's basically a digital publishing revolution going on. The day of writing a book with 18,000 words in it and publishing it is gone. Big blocks of text are certainly, you can sell them. You're just losing that audience because the new way to tell a story isn't with these big blocks of text. It's weaving several different forms of media together to tell a story. StoryStream, and please visit the site. You'll need to Google it. That'd probably be the easiest way. Transmedia StoryStream. Enter. And when you get there, there's videos that explain this and what they're doing, but it's a very exciting blending of several different storytelling elements. It brings e-publishing together with a game engine that allows you to create these ARGs, actually, which is a subset of a transmedia story, where the participants are engaged in moving the story forward. It's their job to locate elements that are needed to push the story forward. So this used to be something that transmedia authors would do on their own. It was, and it's a bit of a challenge to think of how you're going to piece together many, many forms of media and ways to communicate and weave that together into an Afghan of a story. Now we're starting, this is the first, and I'm sure we're going to see a bazillion come after this. This is one of the first online applications that help you build those transmedia stories. So transmedia gaming and transmedia storytelling students, when you get to that class, expect to see this because this will be one of the authoring tools that we're working on. Very exciting. Has anybody seen this or anything like it before?
Haven't seen that, Jason, but it's Kathy here. I haven't seen that, but I think I could probably get lost in that for a couple of weeks at a time without probably stopping to eat or sleep or anything. So that's what a great tool.
Absolutely. If you'd like, you could be... Oh, sorry, Lisa.
Sorry, yeah, this is Lisa. I've looked at some interactive storytelling applications before, but they were primarily like making the old choose your own adventure style type stories, but this seems like this kind of brings it up to the modern day and adds in that transmedia element, kind of the ARG element to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I will definitely be looking at this.
Were you able to talk about why you'd been looking into that? What projects you might be working on, or is that a story for another day?
I mean, I could comment on it. It's nothing to write home about, but I've had an interactive story project that I've been toying with for probably most of a decade and kind of kicked off with a friend about 2 years ago, and we haven't got very far, but hopefully going to be getting back on the ball with that soon. But so this might be worth investigating because I was hoping to make it a more multimodal experience. So very cool.
Very much so. And in addition to investigating this, I am letting everybody here know that you can also go invest in this. There is an Indiegogo fundraiser right now collecting money to make this giant animal come to life. And if you want to be a part of that, you're more than welcome to go give them your money because they would love to have it. And I'm not sure what you get with that, or if Indiegogo is even set up for those kind of T-shirts and memberships and tattoos and whatever else they give away. But one way or the other, you can go help set the foundation for what's going to be a very impressive application. Or they've done a very good job of selling it to me. Either way. Transmedia Story Stream, check it out. Next up, we're going to have Janelle walk us through something that is not hashtag related. So hang on to your hats. Janelle, what can you tell us about this crazy Candy Crush news from yesterday?
I think it's nuts, but in the UK, well, in the EU, sorry, in Europe, they actually already trademarked the word candy. And in the US, the US Patent and Trademark Office, they approved their application to trademark it here. And I think that's nuts because candy is such a popular word, which is why there's so many people in uproar, kind of upset that how dare they do this. But they actually did it because of this one competing guy who decided to create a game that's very similar and called it All Candy Casino Slots Jewels Craze Connect Big Blast Mania Land. I thought that was ridiculous. I'm so glad he's changing the name anyways because he said he doesn't have the money to fight this. But Candy Crush has been downloaded over 500 million times since it launched, so I think it really has the upper hand. I am very proud to say I am not one of the addicted. I've never downloaded this. I refuse to play it. I'm very, very happy about that because I know way too many people who have wasted their life doing this. So, and I'm talking about grown adults, which I think is even worse. But yeah, so yeah, they're planning on patenting it here, and what it would do is it would patent not for everything. I mean, you could still say the word candy, but it's more for platforms that range from computer games to all this other stuff. Actually, it's saying that they want computer games to cassette tapes, which we don't even make anymore, and shower caps. So I guess they really do want to patent the whole word. But that is the news for this.
That seems a little hard to do.
Does he really? I'm not saying anything about that.
You would think all the candy companies would really be fighting back on this. You'd be hearing something from them.
I agree, but it seems like it's mostly gaming companies that are opposing it, and they have 30 days to file a complaint, like now, or request an extension for a window of opposition. But they already did this in Europe, but I think in Europe they don't call it candy; they probably call it something else. And, well,
jolly good candy.
I guess the UK still speaks English, so they would call it candy. I don't know what it is in French. In Spanish, it's caramelo, so I don't even know.
Tatiana said there's a Candy Crush rehab in Australia.
Oh, you know what? I don't doubt it. These people are crazy. I would get like 100 different, like every day, people on Facebook when it first launched, like requesting for me to play with it. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I don't want to play this nonsense. So that's all I got on this.
That's crazy town.
I think it's crazy too.
Candy Crush, not even once.
There's been some other hello, it's Lisa again. There's been some other incidents that were kind of similar to this. And there's that Monster Cable, a company called Monster Cables that does cabling for electronic devices that seem to be happy to sue anybody with Monster in their brand identity. And not too long ago, the company game the term Space Marine, which is a pretty common science fiction trope, and proceeded to sue some small time, or give at least cease and desist to some pretty small authors who were writing fiction and so forth. So it was pretty controversial.
I still don't know how they got past the application process in the U.S. I understand Europe, but not here. We use that too often.
I just keep thinking, how can Twix and all those, Snicker bars and Hershey bars and all these people that, are a pretty big company, the Mars Bar and the Hershey Company, they're not going to say anything about this?
I don't know. Maybe they don't think it's a threat to them. Maybe they think it's just for computers and stuff, but they're asking for across the board, if you say candy, pay up or take it out of anything that you own.
Look, if I can't make my candy clean shower caps, I don't see how I'm supposed to retire. That was really one of my plans.
Tatiana put a good one up here again. She said, what about Candyland, the board game?
But I think that's one word, and that's trademarked, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm going to look that up. I don't know. I'm going to look it up now.
Well, I think
yes,
that we have a lot to keep an eye on. Be very interested to see if they not only accept the application, but then okay it. That would be that'd be something. Luckily, everybody that's enrolled in this program gets to take a media and law. What's that class called? It hasn't launched yet. Transcontinental media law.
Media telecommunication policies.
It's really important.
Media. You won't be teaching it, Jason. Don't worry.
You mean Jason won't be teaching it? Don't worry, students. All right, we're about to wrap up Media in the News with one final story, probably my favorite story, and this started back in 2013 on December 28th. On December 28th, 2 hours south of San Francisco, California, in a barley field, this crop circle appeared. And if you're listening to the audio podcast, on the screen we're looking at a crop circle. The crop circle did what most crop circles do. They got a lot of people talking about it. People were wondering who made it, why did they make it. The UFO lovers came out in droves to explain exactly what the aliens were trying to communicate with this. And it received a lot of attention. And that happened on December 28th. And then there was that standard media blitz where everybody was talking about it. And then they came and plowed the field over and stopped talking about it. You would not believe some of the incredible theories that people came up with and meanings that people found within the crop circle, because this crop circle has a lot of shapes, geometric shapes and patterns within it. And from that, people were able to, distill a lot of what they considered to be hidden information that must have been put there by whoever made these, whether it was aliens, creatures from another dimension, their imaginary friends. I don't know who they think came and did it, but after all the theories and after all the talking, it was revealed that this was simply a viral marketing campaign by the processor and chip maker NVIDIA. NVIDIA hired some of the most world-renowned crop circle artists to create this for them, which I thought was really cool. And they did a great job of recreating not only a crop circle, but integrating this new chip that NVIDIA was coming out with. That's what the message is. They wanted to tell the world about a new chip they're coming out with. And this is a picture of that chip. And it was made, it was talked about, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. So just another one of your run-of-the-mill viral marketing campaigns, but this time the medium was a new one. I hadn't seen a crop circle version of a viral marketing campaign, at least not recently.
Well, Jason, I'm wondering if we can do a segment sometime on, I can't believe this is somebody's job, about crop circle artists.
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
Because, wow, I have never been at a party and run into someone and they said, yeah, I'm a crop circle artist.
Bucket list item.
Can we get one on the show? I'm fascinated with this. Just think of, I'm thinking of Janelle and the project planning that goes into this. You would be media communication students. You're the project planner on this. You got to find a crop circle artist. How do you go about finding someone like that? That's fascinating.
Craigslist.
Very good.
That's an idea.
GPS points for this girl.
I like Jasmine.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm actually going to see if I can find that during the session.
Would you please? Yeah, I
Yes,
challenge
I
you
will.
by the end of the show to tell us. Find us a crop circle artist. Now go.
Okay. All right.
And she's off.
I'll tell you the thing that struck me most about this was even after NVIDIA came out and said, "Hey gang, that was us. Aren't we awesome?" I had so much fun reading through all of the UFO and conspiracy theorist blog posts. They all sounded pretty much the same. Oh, there's NVIDIA covering up for this this conspiracy. Obviously the aliens did it, and now the government has reached out to NVIDIA and asked them to take credit for it, even though we all know it was the aliens from Alpha something. I love people that have that much dedication. There's a lot of dedication there.
That what a great example, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah, I think all of us should be somewhat crazy.
It makes life more interesting.
Well, trust your crazy ideas is something I like to live by. So usually pans out, as you can see in this example.
Yeah, for sure. And
Great.
speaking of crazy, I'm not exactly sure what's next, but I think, unless I'm completely mistaken, yes, it's time for Kathy's Corner.
Ooh, who was that?
I don't know. But
That's impressive, though. Yeah. You know, and it just came right on the heels of Renee sending the 10 of the best crop circles ever, and so now I have to put that aside. But I'm happy to do that because I love coming to you with Kathy's Corner every week. So great to be with everybody. This week I wanted to talk a little bit about what we do every month at Full Sail, a little something called BTS, which is behind the scenes. How many people have done a behind the scenes tour? I'm wondering. Just and put it in the chat box.
Me.
If you have. Me. Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's how I, of course, first met some of you guys that are students of ours now. But we do this for those of you who don't know, we have a behind-the-scenes tour. Those of you that are online, come on over to campus sometime and do this tour. It's just really fantastic. So let me know how I can help you set that up, but you can do that anytime. We actually had an online student from Media Communications on our tour this month. So every month there's a tour. It's a behind-the-scenes tour, and it starts with visit to a sound stage where there's the Daily Buzz set, which is a daily show that airs from Full Sail, and you basically get to know a lot about the Full Sail philosophy, and then you split off into learning more about the program that you are interested in and kind of tour some of that area. So for Media Communications, we're just a little bit of everything. So it was kind of hard, honestly, to kind of come up with what is our tour going to look like. For a while, they were kind of sending us off onto the Digital Arts and Design tour, but that didn't really fit very well for students. So we came up with our own experience, which has been really a lot of fun. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. If you're a media communications student and you come and do the behind the scenes tour, you will start off with where everybody's all together in a really fun kind of gathering, learning a lot about Full Sail in general. Then you go off into your own program. So they come over. I give a presentation about media communications, which is a lot of fun. I get to meet. It's really, really great to be able to meet families. A lot of times I meet parents, sisters, brothers, cousins, all kinds of folks, and always really great. And so we just talk about the program, and then Ivan didn't know we were doing this. So then we go over to the set of a live stream broadcast of DCBS TV. DCBS is Digital Cinematography online program. So they love to have campus students come over and help out with their programming. And so we go and check out the site because some of you may be learning in the video class, and if not, you will soon. The webcasting is where we're going. It's not just walk into Channel 13 News and read the news or do the weather anymore. This is webcasting where as long as I have a computer, some camera equipment, maybe some lights, and internet connection, I can broadcast my show or training or conference or concert or whatever it might be from wherever I am. So some major artists, I know, like the Dave Matthews Band has done live concerts through, which probably some of you have no idea who I'm talking about when I say Dave Matthews Band, but but anyway, just trust me, some people that have been really famous in the past, but even some current Foo Fighters, okay, I'll throw that one out there, has done these concerts where they are actually live streaming, so that way the audience can connect with them via chat, so they can request songs and ask questions of the band and things like that. So it's a whole different kind of experience. But anyway, the point is that webcasting is available to art students to get involved with, and Ivan took up that challenge, and he showed up. He's a campus student in the Introduction to Media Communications and Technologies course, and he came to the behind the scenes tour, and I took him back to the set, and he hung out with that crew, and they put him to work, as you can see here. So he started off at this last time as a production assistant. And Ivan, you know how I like to put you on the spot. Do you want to say anything about how that experience was for you?
It was great. A great learning experience that I recommend to everyone.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you got to do?
Well, as the picture shows, I got to help everyone out in whatever they needed.
Yeah. Yeah, they pretty much just threw him in the pool. So so you got to adjust.
But it was fun.
Yeah, good. You got to adjust lighting, put cables in the right place, tape it down. A lot of just initial production assistant type stuff, right? So but they've invited him to come back, and so he's going to start learning more and more as he goes along, and the idea is that eventually we'll have enough people for MCBS to actually run a show, maybe even for a month, once a week for a month or something like that. So you'll get a chance to learn any aspect that you're interested in. I know I had a couple other of you to say that you were interested. I think, Sandra, if you're out there, I know you were interested, so let me know how I can get you plugged in as well. So it was a great experience because also the prospective students who were on the tour came back. They were with me for the presentation, and we took them back to the set of this show that was broadcasting live, and they got to watch that going on, and then they got to come around on the set when the show was over, and I think they were very surprised to see that, yes, we have a media communication student here, and so Ivan was actually the star. They didn't care about what I said anymore. They wanted to hear what he had to say, so he got to answer some of those questions, and that went really well too. So anything else about that, Ivan?
No, it was great.
Okay, cool. Well, I know they really enjoyed having Ivan, and looking forward to getting more students involved in this project. So that was a really fantastic. That was the highlight for me of this month's BTS. But another thing that was really fantastic was that we had someone on the tour who's actually somebody who's been in Hollywood, literally in Hollywood for 20 plus years, and she was just interested in finding out more about Full Sail and more about the programs at Full Sail, and she's making connections with a lot of the career development people and at Full Sail, and she just was quietly on the tour. I really didn't know if she was a parent or if she was interested in enrolling or what it might be. But it turns out she's a producer, creative director. She does a lot of creative things having to do with the estates of several celebrities, one being Walter Matthau, another being Daryl Hannah. And so she kind of does what I was describing the program. She said, "Oh my goodness, that's what I'm doing." So she does things like manage the website of the Walter Matthau estate. She archives his collections of films, and she does a lot of publicist type work with his organization, does a lot of project management having to do with all of his media projects and that sort of thing. Same for Daryl Hannah. And what she told me was a couple things that were interesting to me. One, she said that right now they're not calling what they used to call publicists for celebrities, now are media communication specialists. How do you like that?
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty interesting. And she said this is what you describe in this program is that. So those folks, there's another career path I didn't even know about that you guys can think about. And here is the big thing that she said. Are you ready for this? She told me that after listening to the program, seeing the set of DCBS and all these opportunities, she said that we are extremely competitive with Witty Media Communications with schools like UCLA and USC.
Whoa.
So I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody. She was so excited about this program. So woohoo, we already knew that, but it's really nice to hear. And it's like you go along and you're doing something and you think, wow, this seems really great. I want to pinch myself. Is this for real? And then you hear somebody go, yep, it's for real. And so we are totally on the right track. And what makes me excited about that is that means you all, our students, our stars of our show, are on the right track. So really excited for you all. So that's it for behind the scenes, and thanks a lot again to Ivan. And you guys, let me know if you're interested in this sort of thing. We're able to at the point now to get you actually hooked up with different roles. So let me know.
So Kathy, did Ivan have to submit a bunch of forms and call you 20 times? Was it really hard for him to get a chance to do this?
He did probably have to email me 20 times, right, Ivan? Because because we've been trying to get this off the ground for a little while. I talked with the guy who actually directs this, and he's very excited to get our students involved. There's been a few just kind of administrative hoops to jump through to be able to make that happen. And so then I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to invite Ivan to come along, and it worked out great. So, but yeah, in terms of you guys, if you're interested in now in doing something like this, no, there's no forms to fill out, nothing like that. Honestly, I want you to be a student that I can feel good about recommending. Obviously, have professionalism, show up and be ready to do whatever it is they ask you to do, because how it is in the real world when you start off like this, they may say, go get me a cup of coffee. And so you just have to do that sort of thing. So it's just kind of part of the dues. So I actually honestly don't know one student that we have that wouldn't be fantastic, but you do have to earn it in that regard, that we want it to be somebody who's ready to just step up like Ivan and do whatever it is they need doing, and be very professional. And I must say that they were all very impressed with Ivan, so
excellent.
He gets to come back again and again and again.
Very cool.
Woo!
Yay.
Well,
okay, thanks Jason.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't want there to be, this is not, no pressure at all, but I could really use a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm off duty.
Yeah, I think you have to be Bob Truitt, the director of that show, to say that. Sorry.
Well, that concludes a spectacular Kathy's Corner and launches us into one of my favorite segments, I Can't Believe This Is Somebody's Job. Today, I Can't Believe This Is Somebody's Job is being brought to us by Coca-Cola and Shannon Gillette. Take it away, Shannon.
All right, and this is one of my favorite things in the entire world, which is where you start along one path thinking you know what you want out of life, and then just following your passion actually brings you to a whole entire new career and future than something you ever thought that you were going to be doing to begin with. Mm-hmm. And this happened to a fellow named Joel Robinson, and he started out thinking that he was going to be a teacher and changing the world in that way. But when he was teaching, he discovered that he felt like he was really missing the creative side of himself. And he searched for a way to find that. He fell into Flickr and became Boy Wonder. And now you can look that up. He's pretty famous on there now. And noticed that there was a whole medium of art and photography on there that he had never considered. And he fell in love with it, the idea of being a conceptual photographer. But he didn't even have a camera at that time. So he decided to go on eBay, and he bought a pretty cheap camera and started going out and taking photos of himself in different environments and using Photoshop to add, whimsical or, other ideas to these self-portraits that he was putting onto Flickr. And one thing that he did was he took picture of himself with the Coca-Cola bottles sitting in the snow and, showing himself kind of blurred with the focus on the Coca-Cola bottles to show that brand and show, just him outside enjoying this in the winter. Well, it was a really good picture, and one of his friends said, you should probably send that over to Coke. So he sent that over there and, never thought about it again for a while. But a year later, Coke contacted him and said, okay, somebody stumbled upon this photo you sent us, and we'd love to use this in a Twitter campaign. And, of course, he was very excited to have such a large company want to use his image that he said, sure, absolutely. And after 3 weeks of it taking off, they contacted him and said, you know what, why don't you run our social media on Flickr for us, and you be our brand there. You can use your photos to show inspiring images, and you can use yours. You can use other people's, but this will be your new job, is to manage this social media site, with this positive message that we want to send out. And he did that for over a year and did a great job. And then Coke said, you know what, we don't want you going anywhere. We love that you were our social media manager here with Flickr. We want to make that even bigger. And they asked him to tour the country as a photographer, focusing on spreading the message throughout the country, so that he now has a job being a photographer and social media manager for Coca-Cola, just by following what he desired, what made him happy, and not thinking that that's where he was going to end up when he started. He had a life-changing experience from following his passion, and you can't beat that.
That's spectacular.
Wow.
That amazes me how things like that happen all the time.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And I know that the focus isn't on the photography, but I'm thinking about the several photography students that we have going through the program. That's a passion of theirs, and it's certainly not what they have as their number one goal in life is to be a photographer, but it's something they're truly, truly passionate about. And I just love hearing those stories where you follow that passion all the way to a dream you never thought you were going to get to have. Very cool. What's his name?
Yeah, I love that. Joel Robinson. And if you want to look him up on Flickr, look for boy_wonder.
Jason, I some of you have told this probably ad nauseum too, but one of my favorite poets says that if it's difficult, if you can't just explain what you do for a living in just one word or one or two words, if it's kind of hard to explain, somebody asks you, back to the party that I was saying that I never heard anybody say they're a crop circle artist, and they say, what do you do? And it's kind of hard to explain and takes, a couple of paragraphs, then you're probably on the right track, because that probably means you're creating kind of carving out your own passionate journey. So I would say this guy would take him 2 or 3 paragraphs to explain what he did. So
for sure,
that's fantastic.
I think that I can take that concept of doing that just because, just when you're in school itself, because before I even, attended college, I never really grasped the concept of what a degree meant, I just thought it was the one word sort of description, but it turns out, that the degree can break down into, many different categories, like media communications. Basically, you can break it down into journalism and PR and all that kind of cool stuff. So, you think it would fit the bill.
Well said. Very well said. Thank you. Notice we were very quiet because we wanted you to keep talking.
Well, you can cut me off anytime.
No, actually, that was fantastic. Yeah, great comment, Jasmine. Thank you.
In one of our planning meetings, we were talking about how to get students to talk more, and so you're doing great. And it seems like we're doing it, so thanks for the credit, too. That's awesome.
Awesome. First time doing this, so.
Definitely not the last, I hope. Well, thank you very much, Shannon. That really was an amazing job. I can't believe that is somebody's job. Certainly not somebody who didn't even know that that was the passion they wanted to follow. Excellent story. And that does, of course, launch us right into, get ready for it, hashtag Be Social Media Savvy with Janelle.
Yay! Okay, so I really wanted to take a different turn. When I saw this, I thought it was such a great article. And it was basically on how to use social media for the good. This guy, Pete the Planner, he's a radio host, and he works for, I forgot, but he's a columnist, obviously, you can see for the Indy Star, but he writes specific columns on finance and stuff like that. And he's got over 8,000 followers. Well, obviously up north it's snowing a lot, and he decided to do something about it. If you go to the next slide, he decided to raise money, and he posted for the Wheeler Mission, which is they really help the homeless, and obviously in the cold, homeless, can freeze literally to death, and the shelter is hard to come by because it gets so packed, and meals and stuff. Well, he decided to raise money by saying, I'm going to give $150 per inch of snow that it snows in Indiana today. And so, people started following it, and people just kept saying, hey, this is a great idea. I'm going to do $5 per inch of snow. And someone else said, well, I want to do 100. Companies started chiming in, companies in Indiana. And it was just such a great thing that in 24 hours, they raised actually over $41,000 just because it snowed. But it was just a really creative way to use social media that wasn't just all about self and ego and all that stuff, but it really helped. As you can see, that the project provided 18,222 meals to the homeless, and that actually didn't stop after the 24 hours, but it was just such a great way to use it. So I kind of wanted to challenge everybody, because there's so many different ways to use social media. How can you use it for the good? And I mean, I'm not just talking about Twitter, which is obviously my favorite form of social media because it's not as intrusive as Facebook, but Facebook, even LinkedIn, which kind of seems to go by the wayside just because it's so professional, but there's still ways to do this and incorporate in Pinterest, Twitter, as you can see, Instagram, all of these different avenues. I mean, this is what our students, I think, are. They're the ones that create like these ideas and these concepts, because could be easily, it went viral, but it's just a way that you can incorporate, something bigger than yourself. So I wanted to challenge you guys. If you guys want to chime in on something that you think would be a great idea to do, that's cool. But unless you're like me and don't quite think on your toes that quick, I just kind of want to challenge you. How can you use social media for the good, socially, as opposed to just to get stupid messages across? So that was my little take, because I saw this article. I thought this would be a great segment just to kind of back off from the typical Be Social Media Savvy segment. So that's what I've got to say.
Don't go away yet, because I have a feeling that Emily and the gang just came up with an idea. I might be wrong.
Ooh!
But I think they're about to chime
No pressure,
in.
Emily and the gang. No pressure. What do you guys got? That's awesome.
Bad connection.
It's a hard question, and he actually came up with it with his son. They were talking about, and I think his son was under the age of 10, and they just started chatting about something, and he said, let's do that, because the homeless just kind of came to mind, and then they thought, hey, let's just use this as a fundraiser while we're stuck in the snow. So it also takes the time to appreciate what you have, when others don't. So anyways, I thought that was a cool take on how to use social media. That's my Be Social Media Savvy segment.
Thanks.
Another awesome one. Another awesome one.
Yeah.
And it does lead directly into another incredibly famous segment of the show, Tool Time with Pete. Take it away, Pete.
That's the most applause I think I've ever gotten. I'm completely flattered by that. Thank you, Robert. Well, in Tool Time this week, I'm kind of excited because there's sort of a personal interest that I've had in at least one of the apps, and the other app was just kind of a fun discovery. So let's get to it. Yeah, thanks, Jason. The first one I want to talk to you about is Fantastical 2. Many of you didn't know there was a Fantastical 1, and it's so wow, double the surprise. I am constantly buying apps, as you might imagine, because I'm always searching for just the perfect app. And of course, we always know there's some feature we're not going to have. It's going to maybe be 3/4 of what we want, so we settle for that. And yes, Lisa, I'm looking in here. Fantastical 2 Electric Boogaloo. Very nice, yeah. Clever there, yeah. But Fantastical is a kind of cool way for you to look at your calendar and also record dates and put in your schedule, because it's not just typing in text. You can actually speak it in. And it's very clever in the way that it hears your words, because it parses them out based on the way you would put them in your calendar. So let's start out with that one, Jason. We'll give it a click and take a look-see at what's under the hood here. I basically called it Your Schedule Made Easy. It's not so much that the work on our schedule might be easy, but the way that we can sort of maintain it is a lot easier, I think. And FlexBits, which is the company that put this out, has already won a Macworld Eddy over this, and they are continuing to develop it. Now, I want to say at the outset here, it does not have any support for Exchange yet, but everybody is clamoring to FlexBits. Please, please, please. That will make it so useful in the business world, and I would say in many of our worlds as well, if it could connect to Exchange. Also, that said, if you're using Mac, the Apple Mail program, though, and you're sharing calendars, it works completely fine with that. So let's click ahead, and we'll take a look at what this thing actually looks like and does. So I have two little sections here. One is called Looking Good, and the other one is called Sounding Even Better. And what I mean by that is this is the iPhone app. There's an iPhone app, and there's a desktop app. So the iPhone app, when you turn your phone to landscape, it actually looks like this, and I love the way that somebody has finally made it look the way I want to, like the way I want to see it when I turn it to landscape. So landscape will automatically give you this sort of month view or week view, and you can start seeing things that maybe cover a longer period of time or a few days. So it looks good, and then when you're also putting in your content, you can see, well, it says sounding even better there. You can just go ahead and speak those things in, and in a minute I'll show you there's a little toggle that you can either put this under reminders or put it on your calendar. The other thing I like about this is you'll notice your week is going across the top, and then everything else is listed underneath it. So you get reminders, you get your daily schedule, you get what's coming up. It's all in one view, and I think that's what I ultimately wanted in my calendar. I just wanted to look at it and see everything that was coming up, my reminders, what was on my schedule, and so on and so forth. So there you have it. Also on the Mac, on the desktop, you see it. You see a kind of a wide-angle shot of my desktop, and then I have an arrow up in the top there pointing to what a zoomed-in portion of the app. And so there's the date today circled. That's what's going on today. I can see what's happening tomorrow, and oh my goodness, I've got a haircut with Tehi on Friday. So there you have it. Yeah. So I got to make sure that happens. But I see my reminders, and I need to start uploading some content. I have to do some work there. The screen where I am, you can hold it there, Jason, for one more second. The screen where I'm inputting a new event, you can see right there has a toggle, and there's sort of maybe a third of the way down, a little under a third of the way down on the right, you'll see a gray little oblong portion with a white dot to the right. That you can toggle back and forth that button, and that changes it from either an actual appointment or it's a reminder. And here's the part I like. It doesn't show it on the keyboard there, but it does in the new version. The microphone is there, so you can just click it and then speak that text in, and it will parse it out just the way it needs to be in your calendar. It's like having a personal assistant key everything in for you. I'm a little lazy that way, so I love this app very much. So talk it up when you're creating your event, and it will accommodate you wonderfully. So that is Fantastical. And yeah, that's a pretty cool one. And the next one is a free app. And Lisa, I always think of you because I know you have the Android, and so I want to make sure I don't leave out our Android friends as well. And so this app is going to be for both the Mac App Store and also for the Droid. And this is called Wordio, and I have a feeling you're all going to be downloading this in like 2 seconds, because here's what the app does in 3 little sections. First, you text, you put in whatever you want to text someone. So in this case, they said, snowboarding today with Joe and Mum, blue skies, fresh snow, big smiles, and hot chocolate. And then as soon as you enter that, as soon as you press that little arrow in the upper right, it begins to build a video. And it builds a video with your words on top of each little video clip. And you can change it, you can tweak it, you can put your own video in or use the video that they supply. You can choose a different video clip for that word. You scroll through it, and then it creates this video that goes along with your text, and then it's kind of a creative way to share thoughts and whatnot with people. And so, of course, you see that video on the far right ends up being made. So you're saying, Pete, that's all good, but what does it really look like? So, Jason, I say we give him a shot at this. So here's one from a guy, Dylan, and it's up on the Wordio site. And again, you can share these with email, Facebook, Twitter, everything. And so go ahead and click, and let's see if this video will play there for us. Do we have audio on the video? Okay, so don't worry about it. Just imagine that there's this really cool track playing right now, which there is, that really embellishes the video. You can see what happens. The text that you wrote in has these really kind of cool, emblematic clips of video behind them, and he's putting his own clips in along with the clips that are supplied by Wordio, and then he can share it. Jason, I have a special message, by the way, for our class, our students today that are here watching participating in the MCBS Radio Hour. So let's go ahead and click ahead, and I made a Wordio for you guys. So
is there audio in this one?
It doesn't matter. Just imagine that I picked the coolest audio track ever, and I'll share it with my media research students.
Okay.
If you keep clicking, it'll go to the next one.
Yeah, here it comes.
There we go. So if I click one more time, it'll play it. There you go. To the real stars of our show, you guys, you amazing students. That is my Wordio to you today. And then, Jason, how can we end? There you go. Thank you, Janelle. We got Robert on the effects. We've got Janelle with the extra effects. How can you go wrong in here, right? Jason adding the audio, going the extra mile there. Thank you, Jason. And so if we click one more time, I have to have always my outro screen. Well, there's two. The recap. So Fantastical, and it's like $2, I think, or something. I know I always do free, but it's worth it. And then Wordio is free, and it's on the Android launch and App Store as well. And so, Jason, let's give him the parting shot. Last screen. Now go and have some funner fun. So there you go. Making up my own words here at the Tool Time Institute. You guys have fun and send some texts. Try it out. Kick the tires. Go Wordio. There you have it.
Thanks, Pete. I have to say that I am have the funnest fun. I'm not having funner fun. I'm having the funnest fun. And I've actually already downloaded it. And I think that when I searched, it came up Wordio Limited.
It is. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so I just want to let everybody know that. Make sure don't get the one you go to just the Wordio. It's not the
It's
you'll
not
tell
that.
it's not the right
Oh,
one.
cool. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah.
That's okay. Wordio Limited,
Awesome.
but it is so fun. And so from what I understand, Pete, it creates a video that you can then text or Facebook or send out in any way you choose, correct?
Yes, and exactly. And this was launched by former employees of Apple and the BBC. So there's some heavyweights behind it. Expect this app to get beefed up in the coming months too. So, and again, the real bonus is it's free and it's just a fun way to communicate with your friends and your loved ones. So there you go.
And I'm sorry to keep going with this, but what's so fascinating with it too is that it's like a new kind of Instagram in that I can look at everybody else's Wordios.
Yes,
Right?
if you
And I can maybe, I can be a fan of someone or whatever, but it's kind of like a text
Instagram.
messaging meets Instagram, right?
Yeah.
it is.
Meets
It's
Vine. Yeah.
I think in the beginning I had Twitter and Vine meet, and I called it twining, but it's
Yeah.
it is. It's all those things. And Kathy, I think from a strategy point of view,
Yeah.
who knows what's going to happen with this thing?
Yeah,
So it is.
that
It's
is
a little
so
interesting.
fascinating. Boy, that'd be interesting to predict.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Pete. That's just
You bet.
awesome.
My pleasure.
That was Tool Time with Pete. Stellar, stellar, stellar. And that does bring us to our part of the show where we part ways. We are going to
Jason,
see.
Oh.
Hang on,
Wait,
Jason.
wait. Oh my gosh.
Hang on.
Oh.
I would like to know if Jasmine found me a crop circle artist.
Oh, I knew you were gonna ask that. I was
You
waiting.
knew it.
It's a lot harder than you think. However, I did find a page on how the artists actually get involved with it, as well as a few renowned artists.
Interesting.
It didn't say exactly, job openings, but it gave information on how the job's done and who does it and
Very cool.
all of that stuff. It's eye-opening to me.
Well, I'm wondering if it's okay, Janelle, if she posts that on the Facebook so that those of you listening to the show can then follow
Absolutely.
up with what research that Jasmine did for us, because you never know, she may then end up working for that company and need to know how to find a crop circle. So she can tell us how to do that. Awesome. Thanks very much, Janelle. I mean, for Jasmine and Janelle,
You're
the Jays.
Oh, I
the
found a
Jays.
guy. His name is Gary. I can't even read it because he's a crop circle artist.
Oh, cool. Okay, we're off and running.
Kind of crazy.
I'm going to guess that when this
Great.
program came out, or when this marketing campaign was launched, that the number of paid crop circle artists increased by 100%.
Don't you think? Right. All of a sudden, people are crop circle artists. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of them actually, it says a lot of them reside in England.
Yeah, I saw that
they-
too.
Interesting.
Yeah, doing a lot of Celtic. They seem to
Very
favor
interesting.
Celtic symbols.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I think. Those are the ones they claim that aliens really like to make. So,
Yeah, that's what the aliens. Right. Of
you know,
course.
kind of along those lines, Jason, and your helicopter.
Pete.
The
You're breathing again.
I'm not kidding you. I am not even breathing.
That was you. It had your name.
There is no way.
your name all over
And
the
I'm done. I'm what?
Oh yeah, I don't hear any breathing.
He's-
I think
he's holding
you're
his
turning
breath.
blue. You're turning blue. Pete. No, just kidding. He's not turning blue. He's fine. So Jason, the toy that you're going to get, the what's it called, the helicopter with the camera in it, the drones.
Oh, he has one. He has one.
Oh, he has one. Well, you know,
the
I
quadcopter.
heard that technology is going to replace crop dusting. So we've got a whole new crop kind of,
Quad
whole new
circle.
arena for the crop agriculture, job circle.
You probably know I've done a little research into this, and
Yeah.
in addition to crop dusting, they're also used for wilderness search and rescue, which I think is a great thing to do. Farmers that have thousands of acres with sheep and cattle, instead of getting on their horse or their four-wheel drive, can now shoot their first-person view quadcopters a mile or two away from their ranch and see where the cattle are or the sheep. So many uses. So many uses.
So many. And Clayton saying UPS and Lisa saying pizza delivery.
Yep.
Just amazing.
Yep.
And smacking the wives in the back. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I digress. But you can close that up now, Jason. Sorry about that.
No, I don't. I think.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you again.
I think you guys need to just kind of settle in because we opened the quadcopter can, and I'm going to talk about this for like 10 more minutes. See, they got 4 propellers called
I'm
props.
sorry, folks. Sorry.
That's been a spectacular show, and it's always wonderful to hang out with the faculty, the students, and any of the other guests that show up and want to hang out with us. It's always a party, and the party continues next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Full Sail time. I hope you guys can make it. Have a great, great week.
Bye, everybody. So as always, I will hang out. This is Kathy. I'll hang out afterwards a little bit. If anybody's got any questions or just want to chat about something, just let me know. I'll hang here for a little bit.
I like this music. Boom! We're out.
Now we're done.
Now we're done.